Okay, hey, it's an Unleashed, which I really have not much to really unleash today. I don't even have a good rant for you. I'm just really tired and awake at the same time. I had caffeine from this morning, and I'm kind of bored out of my mind. Can't go anywhere. Too early to go to bed. So, I'm just knocking my mic over here too. So, anyways, Godless Kafir, or AKA Godless Girl, is in here in a little Google Hangout here with me, and I thought her and I would just kind of like shoot the crap for a little while. I'm trying not to say any bad words because I keep getting demonetized like every single video. It's ridiculous. But anyways, what's up, Godless? It's been a long while. Yeah.
I would love to hear a summary from you of what's been going on with you because I see bits and pieces, but I don't really know
Oh
the details.
man,
It looks
that's a
like
hard question.
a lot of drama happens, and
Okay,
uh,
how long have you known me? How long has it been?
oh, probably four
At
years,
least,
five
right? Four or
years.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever known me not to have drama around me, even though I don't create the drama? I just
Oh well,
somehow
there
get
was
stuck with
the
it.
first year I knew you. There was never really juicy drama.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what's funny? There recently, like Darth Dawkins was saying that he never had any discussions with me, and he only talked to me once. Now, you have been in Nadia's hangout when I have actually had ongoing discussions with Darwin's, right?
Yeah, you got on the troll list.
Yeah, I got on the troll list because I mean, I remember having well, they weren't debates, but I remember having discussions with him on like natural selection, and stuff that Jack Ingstrike was talking to him and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, he goes on like modern day debate and tells James, "Well, I've only talked to Steve once, and that was on Council Google Plus." I'm like, okay, either he's just not remembering things or outright lying. And with Darns, you'd never quite know. So, but I mean, you remember those days where he would come in and we would sit at all hours and kind of like shove his crap back up his you know what. Again, try not to get
Yeah, we
demonetized
were
too quick.
all three of us were on Hangouts constantly. Yeah, he does forget people easily, especially when he hasn't talked to him in a while. But I don't. He wouldn't forget you because you would run the Hangouts. Some of the Hangouts he would go into.
Well, I did. He okay. Yes and no. I've been on other people's channels where I help moderate, but he's never been on this channel ever.
He's never been on. Yeah. Oh
He's
yeah.
never
He's
been on my
been here.
channel. Now he has been on like
No, that's not true.
he's never been on this channel. Go find anytime he's ever been on this channel.
Like back in the days when you guys would
Not once.
be like talking about evolution, the
Nope.
science Hangouts.
Nope. Every video clip that I have of him was on another channel. I just happened to put it on this channel.
Where did he talk to? Where did he get crushed by Fiona about Catholicism?
I believe he was on probably either Antonio Fletcher's or EMK's channel.
Oh.
MK's. I think it was probably MK's because a lot of the MK stuff got deleted. I don't even know what happened to him, but yeah, there's a lot of conversations with Darn's back when he had mod control back on MK's channel and Antonio Fletcher, who by the way came around a few weeks ago. Cool as hell. We had a great discussion. He's thinking about starting up his channel again. But yeah, and so it was really weird when people were like, "Well, I want to see Steve and Darns go at it." Okay, I'm here. Have him come in. Whatever. I mean, I've
Oh,
never
he
stopped
wouldn't
him.
agree to that.
Of course he wouldn't. He'll never talk to you either for the same reasons. Right?
Um, he's changed a lot. He's gotten extremely lazy. It used to be his goal to like humiliate people and stuff, but now he has control. He has mod controls wherever he goes. So he just basically asks questions and preaches rather than he doesn't even successfully humiliate because he was good at debate, but he doesn't even really debate anymore much.
Well, do you think that's because more and more people are kind of becoming wise to his shtick? I mean, back when, I mean, Floyd FP, Ozzy, Malpass, myself, Angstrike, Rational Nihilist, and a whole bunch of other people pretty much eviscerated him. I mean, just basically cut his kneecaps off on every one of his arguments. So, I mean, yeah, he's probably gotten a little bit more cautious about those pitfalls, but he's had no good arguments for how long?
Yeah, that's true. But see, we were a community with the same people all the time. So on Discord, he has an endless stream supply of like dumb atheists coming in. But as soon as like they ask a question that stumps them or something, then he just like puts them on the troll list and mutes them, which he didn't used to do that as easily.
Yeah, it seems
Um,
odd because I mean, his shtick is to try to humiliate new atheists. Now, granted, you and I are no fans of new atheism. You're an atheist, but you're not one of those new atheist type people. You actually argue with argumentation, and you do it very successfully. But you know as well as I do that there are many new atheists, the ones that just think that showing a meme is going to counteract, some theistic argumentation because they don't understand the topic. Those kind of atheists, I mean, they're just so philosophically naive, thinking that they've owned people, and I see that quite frequently. You see it quite frequently. So I think we're both on the same page when it comes to.
Oh yeah,
that.
oh
Okay.
yeah. But see, I actually have deep hatred for them because I used to be one of them. But actually, Darth and I met on Pal Talk, and my first day in Pal Talk, he took me into a private room, separated me from the other atheists, and brutally beat on me. Like took out a metal bat and just brutally beat on me and humiliated. Like I didn't even know what the Kalam was. I didn't know anything. But back then, I didn't even realize that I was stupid. I used to be one of those atheists. But then I became more and more separated, and just they seem to really hit a ceiling. Like they when it comes to advancing their debate skills and knowledge of philosophy and science.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right.
And
I was the same way that 9
dishonest.
years ago. I mean, I didn't know crap about philosophy. Not even that long ago. Probably it was like 7 years ago that I was that person going, hey, what is philosophy used for? You sit around and chair, drink cognac and smoke a cigar, right? But as you learn, as I learned, as other people have learned as they watch, our channels, there's a lot more to it to that. And it's probably one of the hardest subjects out there in a lot of ways. Philosophy is not an easy subject.
The what?
Hardest subjects in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the great thing about it, though, is you can use it to crush anybody in their own field.
Well, logic, right? I mean, people don't understand that logic is philosophy. And when you're using a dialectic synthesis of sorts and you're trying to get to the truth of the matter, or if you're just having some kind of discussion with an interlocutor and it's an honest interlocutor, it's great, right? But if a person is dishonest, you can usually show why they're dishonest if you understand some of the philosophical context. Like when Darwin runs his little shtick, you know how to obliterate him. I mean, basically, he's a Greg Bahnsen parrot anyways. But everything his arguments are so fallacious, it's ridiculous. But he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And in some ways, he kind of does. And this was kind of weird. Darwin could probably be pretty good at this topic if he just stopped being a sophist. Maybe stop just trying to do rhetoric and play games and try to make some atheists look bad. Because he's not completely naive of the subject material, I would say.
He's not stupid.
Yeah. But he twists it. He uses it as a weapon rather than an educational tool.
Right. I don't even think he's that. I don't think he's religious. I don't think he's that interested in theology or anything.
Really? You don't think so? I mean, you think it's all a long con game of some kind? Well,
he's just taken up debating atheists as a hobby.
But you don't think he's like but he's supposed to be a I'm so tired. Presuppositionalist Christian. Right? I mean, he's supposed to like believe that without the Christian God, you can't even have, a coherent worldview.
Oh yeah, but I don't think he ever puts much thought into like, have I really received a divine revelation? It's just a weapon.
Okay, so you're thinking that he just does it for, hate to say, crap and giggles, because I'm trying not to get demonetized so early. It's been rough. I got to get everything I can get, man. It's just, I'm telling you, man, with all this shutdown stuff. Oh man.
What shutdowns? Oh, from the coronavirus?
Yeah. Yeah. Haven't you like been hit by it a little bit?
What do you mean hit by it?
Well, I mean, like around my area, man, everybody's Riverside County. You have to have a mask. All the shopping has these like blue tapes,
there's
and you have to
shops.
stand 6 feet away from people.
Here.
Yeah,
that's what you mean. Yeah, I'm so fucking bored in the house all the time.
So you're not going out. You're home isolating yourself because I got my mask.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go.
I mean, like this is legit. I got my mask, so yeah, there's nowhere to go. Nothing's open around here, right? Yeah.
But they become so dishonest. The atheists. Another thing is, look at that feminist bullshit. Like all these, like this is supposed to be the skeptic community, right? They pride themselves. They're so arrogant about needing evidence for their claims, right? Mm-hmm. Or for their beliefs. But they fucking allow these women to come in and take down the leaders. Look, there's with nothing more than an allegation.
Atheism plus. Well, that's atheism plus, right? I mean, you were back when Richard Carrier, he was one of those types, and by the way, it's backfired on him. And I'm not talking crap on Richard.
The same with David Silverman.
Well, hang on, but Richard Carey would say, if you're not with us, you're against us, right? And he realized that's not a good way to go about. Now, I've had my issues with David Silverman in the past. Philosophically speaking, I think he's completely and utterly wrong. But I actually get along with the guy very well. I mean, we were on Drunken Peasants. We got along great. He's been on my show. We got along great. I have no issue with the guy personally. None. He's very congenial. He's very personable, very communicative, and very articulate. I just think his philosophy is fundamentally flawed, but we didn't get into that. So whatever. But I mean, you're right. I mean, there is this thing in atheism in the skeptic community to incorporate all this other irrelevant stuff. And they've done this before with Atheism Plus. Now it's almost like Atheism 2.0. I don't see how these organizations relate atheism to just about like everything dealing with feminism and gender, transgender and gay rights. Now, granted, I'm all for those things. No big deal. Great. But atheism, like the movement of atheism, seems to want to embrace this stuff, which is okay. Go for it. But what I've noticed is the more you start including other stuff like that into your ideology, the more divisive you get. And this is why you have
the more what you get?
Divisive.
What's that mean?
Divides.
Oh.
Because you have all these different people that not just, believe God doesn't exist, or if they want to say don't believe God exists. You now have people that would say, well, you have to hold to this position. You have to hold by this position. And what happens in the hardcore feminist communities and these communities where you don't hold their exact position? What happens to you? You get excised, basically. You get shut down. You basically get removed from the group. I mean, we've seen it multiple times. I just don't get into that stuff.
Why I think that the feminism bullshit is so effective, because they make people scared to speak up for the people that are being accused, because then they'll get called misogynists.
Oh yeah, well these terms have no meaning any longer. I mean, if you don't,
what the fuck is a feminist?
Well, it used to be, to me, if somebody says, look, I'm a feminist, and that basically means to me egalitarianism and second wave and equal rights or equity. I think equity is more important than equal rights per se for various reasons. I think that most people are not on equal footing. I think they need probably more or less than other people. And you can call it socialism, whatever, but it's still equity. But that's what a lot of it was for. Nowadays, it's not even like that any longer, because before, if it was a woman's choice, right? If a woman wants to do this and do that, that's her choice. And I'm all for that 100%. But now if a woman makes a specific choice that the group doesn't like, oh, you can't do that. It's like, wait a minute here. Isn't this what feminism is supposed to be about? Their choice? Because that's right. Feminism I get behind.
I'm for equal rights.
Sure. What?
I'm for equal rights, but because of them, I now call myself an anti-feminist.
I used to, but I don't longer call myself that any longer, merely because I think the connotations were not what I was trying to go for. I don't take the label of feminist because I don't hold to what modern feminism is any. And by the way, my friend Brittany Simon, who was a very prominent feminist in the youth atheist and YouTube community, she left all of it behind. She got sick of it all, and why? Because of the tribalism, by the divisive nature of, if you don't agree with them lockstep, you're done, you're out. And she's like, no, this isn't what my type of feminism is. And so, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I don't get any of that because I don't follow into any of those groups. Have you ever known me to even have any kind of real ideological considerations or agenda? I mean, all I've ever done since I've been on YouTube is try to educate a little bit, entertain, have conversations. What's wrong with that? I mean,
Right.
I mean, what about you? I mean, you have your channel, and I mean, I don't think you do much with it lately, but I mean, you're starting to post some stuff. But what is your goals on YouTube?
Well, I get annoyed that I'll take a break from my channel. Well, I lost one of my channels.
That I
lost
knew.
one of my channels.
That was a while ago.
For posting, yeah. So I get annoyed. Like, I lost my channel, and then I get annoyed. So I made a new channel. I mean, I still have my old Welfare Queen channel, but I get annoyed because I'll try to. Okay, so let me.
Do you still have your lobster video?
Look at these fucking girls, like Cheshire and Shannon Q. They're fucking so dumb and they don't have a
You think
personality.
Cheshire? Wait,
Why are
well,
they?
hang on,
Why?
hang on. I mean, you really do? Because first, I mean, Cheshire's my co-host, right? For Caffeine Corner, right? She's probably one of the most underestimated people I've ever met in my life because she's wicked smart, but people tend to underestimate her. Now, look, people do the same to you. I know you're wicked smart. I mean, brutally freaking wicked smart, and you used to play that down, but people underestimate you because of it. I've seen it, right?
Yeah.
So you think
Well,
because I don't
people who
think
are, yeah.
because Cheshire's not a feminist. I mean, she's as for feminist values. I mean, sure, but so's most people think, hey, we should have equal pay, equal rights, blah blah blah. It's the people that take it one step further and start going into this. Oh, if you don't agree with us, you're a misogynist, or misandrist, or if you whatever it is they want to use. These labels have no bite to them any longer. I mean, if you're on the internet, at some point in time, no matter what you believe, how nice you are, how big-hearted you are, you're going to be called a Nazi, a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, a transphobe, a misogynist, a misandrist. It doesn't matter. You're going to be called something because that is the weapon that people use when they have no actual argumentation. Every time.
Right. No, I was just saying that about Cheshire because I thought you had a falling out with her because you were just posting
Never.
some shit about her being a cunt on
I've never said
Twitter.
that.
You said, "What are the like five negative C words
No,
or something?"
the five big C words. That's clarity. The five big C words are what you should do in a conversation. Ask for clarification, context, principle of charity, critical thinking, and cookies. Where you means that we use cookies to say, hey, look, when you come into a conversation, bring cookies to your interlocutor. Be friendly, right? Because I try to
Oh, so
be
I
most of the
totally
time.
misinterpreted the tweet because I guess somebody else was typing negative C words. So I just like
Oh
typed
no,
and
it's all
just yeah.
positive.
But
Yeah. No,
oh,
Cheshire's going
okay.
to be my new co-host for the non sequitur show once we get it back.
Oh, are you gonna get it back?
It's already mine, technically, legally speaking. The judge has already determined it's my channel. Yeah, that's already done. But he's not. He's failing to obey the mandates of the court right now.
What are they? What does he have to like hand over the password and stuff to you?
Yeah, he has to hand over everything, but he hasn't yet, and that's something that's going to be taken care of.
But anyway, so the reason I brought up her is because you asked me about my channel. So I get
Mm-hmm.
annoyed because uh, I'm so much more interesting and then like Shannon Q. She's like fucking look at how many views she gets and shit. Um, I'm so much more interesting and smarter than her. Like she's a dumb bitch without a personality. Like what? Just because she has a vagina and she's an atheist, is that what the views are from? Like I don't understand why she's famous and I'm not.
I don't think she's really that famous, but I mean, I don't listen to a lot of stuff that she has any longer. It just doesn't really interest me. But I don't think she gets as many views as she used to. Nobody does right now. The views are down all over the place. It's just because of the world situation. There's so much more to watch, and people are not watching YouTube as much as they're watching other things. I get it, right? So views are down all over. But when she would do it, like for example, when she did her job on what was it? The counseling, the Christian counseling thing, right? I thought she did a really good job on that, right? And I do support her 100% on these people that are saying, hey, we're Christian counselors. You don't need medication or you don't need psychological help. What you need is prayer. Just nonsensical stuff like that. That I think is dangerous. I think it's harmful. I think things like reparative therapy, which is conversion therapy, guaranteed doesn't work, and I think it's very detrimental. She's against that kind of stuff, and so I do support her on that. So other than that, I really don't follow much what she has lately.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, look, by the way, we have an old mutual friend in the live chat.
I haven't been looking at the live chat.
Oh, we have psychopath atheist. Man, it's been
I
a
haven't
while.
talked to psychopath atheist since my welfare queen video.
Do you still have your lobster video?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I never do anything to that channel.
Can I tell people what that was about?
Oh, of course.
Okay. So you guys may not know Godless Girl. She's infamous, and she made like headline news way back when. She was on all the news stuff because she basically bought a lobster with her food stamps and then gave it to her dog on camera and made a video about it. It went viral. And so she became welfare, known as the welfare queen. And you had something on your cell phone too, if I remember not mistaken. You had a cell phone video that you got a cell phone for free, something like that.
Oh, that was in the same video.
Okay, it was the same video. It's been a long while, so please forgive me. But anyways, that kind of puts you on the map. So you had some infamy right there. You had a lot of that thing got what 1 million freaking views or some crap.
Yeah, it got picked up by all these right-wing news sites, but then I totally fell out of the spotlight.
Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously you can. Now, I don't recommend. This is just me, no offense, but I don't recommend that kind of popularity. I mean, you do you, right? But if you want to if you want to like get a little bit more popularity on YouTube, start a talk show or start a dialogue show, right? You and somebody else. I mean, that's mostly what Cheshire and I do. That's what a lot of us do. We just talk. We have conversations, and then those kind of conversations people find interesting. They tune in. Right. And again, to each his own. Some people out there, I just don't want to listen to them. Right. I have no desire to listen to anything I have to say. If you haven't noticed, and I don't know if you bother, but people use my name all the time for views. Like, hey, we're going to talk about 5G, Steve McRae exposed. We're going to talk about trans rights, Steve McRae. We're going to talk about rocket ships, Steve McRae. You won't believe what you hear. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. They throw my name up there as some kind of like magical thing to get them views. Now, I don't care. I don't watch any of that crap. None of it. But it's weird that they do that because when you see it comes up, you see like 5 people watching, right? You just like, they got no views out of it. Why do they bother? I don't know how I became so popular that they have to use my name on what I don't watch and most people I know don't watch. Isn't there like 1 million other people they could get more cred from than using my name? Start using your name, Godless Engineer. You won't believe what you won't believe what happens next.
What do you mean they're using your name?
They'll just throw my name in a video title. Every day there's a video about every day there's pretty much a video that has my name in it somewhere.
Oh, well, I might have even had that in the back of my mind when I did that Darth Dawkins agnosticism video the other day.
Oh, I did watch that, by the way.
I mean, I think you're saying that they didn't get any viewers at the time, but I think I've tried to piggyback off you on like Twitter before.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. I mean, look, I know you've used my name before, and you've taken clips and stuff like that. I don't care about that. It's perfectly fine. I have no issue with you, and you basically mirror my positions pretty well. That's perfectly fine. I'm talking about dishonest agents that actually go out of the way to lie about me just for views. I mean,
I see. Like you're saying, start drama.
Oh, for drama, yeah. They're just strum up, just make some stuff up. Oh, did you hear Steve kick puppies today? Oh, did you hear Steve did this? And I'm sitting there like with Chesh and Reds and other people going, what the hell are they even talking about? Half the time, I don't even know what they were referring to. It's so outlandish. But they don't care. It makes no difference to them. If we get some views, might as well throw Steve's name up there. But why me? That's what I really don't understand. I'm not like some major popular YouTuber that if you throw my name in a YouTube channel, you're going to get, 5,000 freaking views or 50,000 views or 100,000 views. You might get 20 or 30 views on my name. I barely get 1,000 views any longer on my videos because, the world's changing. I accept that, right? 1,000 is still pretty decent, but I mean, nowadays. But why me? I don't get it. It's just weird. I will never understand it.
Well, it kind of doesn't, because your name is, there's so many videos of you, your search, so, putting your name, throwing your name in a video isn't even gonna, like with the algorithm, if they don't have your name tied to their channel already, like throwing it in a few videos isn't gonna get them. Like when you search your name on YouTube,
so, yeah.
Their channel is not gonna come up.
Yeah, well, that seems to be the case. I mean, they're not getting any views out of it. They're not getting any value out of it. But for some reason, it's just like, Steve McRae lied. Let me explain why. Okay, well. I mean, you've known me for 5 years. Have you ever caught me in a lie? Has Darren caught me in a lie? Has anybody caught me in a lie? Ever?
Not that I recall.
Because why would I bother to? I've been like dead honest from day one, and people have used that as a weapon. And then I've learned now I'm not going to be as brutally honest as I was before, right? Doesn't mean I'm going to be dishonest, clearly. But there's certain things I can keep to myself where I don't need to have it out there, because before I felt like I needed full transparency. I don't think I need that anymore. I've been vindicated 1,000 times over. And so if people still want to think poorly of me, whatever, man. I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, I'm not going to have the whole world love me, right? There's only a
What
handful of people I
percentage of
really
the
care about like
community?
that.
What percentage of the community stood by you with the non sequitur split?
About 95%.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I remember watching the subscriber count drop. There was a count, like a counter for it, and it went from 30 something thousand to like 26,000.
Yeah, it
It
dropped
got
down
down.
quite considerably. Yeah. Yeah. No, my followers have been around for a very long time, and they know better. And the funniest reason why people will ask, why does Steve have such a core group? Why do these people stick around? It's because they've experienced, many of them have experienced the same thing that I've experienced firsthand, right? They've had it happen to them what has happened to me about these dishonest players and dishonest actors. And they go, wait a minute, this isn't true. And I'm like, well, there you go. I mean, if they're going to lie about you, you kind of can see how they've been lying about me. And they're like, because I can ask my live chat right now, how many of you have had been in that situation where somebody out there on Twitter or Facebook or whatever has, one of my detractors has accused you of being a Steve sycophant, lying about you, taking things out of context, being dishonest. And I think the worst thing is what Godless had brought up earlier. Godless, when you say you ask people for evidence, right, which I think is perfectly fine to do. I do it all the time. But they never give it. They just say it's out there or you need to see this. But they never explain what the actual evidence is. I have never seen anybody come at me with actual evidence of any malfeasance on my part. Ever. And I'm not trying to downplay anything. I mean, if anybody has any, where the hell is it?
Well, I'm going to ask you about, and I don't think this is juicy drama. I'm not asking this because I think it'll be juicy drama or entertaining. I actually think it's kind of sad, but I know nothing about the situation. Just the fact that you did have a falling out. What the fuck happened with you and Fiona? Like she seemed to be a good friend. She seems like she's a good person. You seem like you're a good person. So I don't understand what conflict could have there been that would cause you guys to.
I dare disagree with her, and I dare speak out against her. That was my falling from grace.
About what?
It doesn't matter. It really, I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to just shove off the question, but it really doesn't matter. But it does involve somebody who's no longer with us, and I won't be talking about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of did she view you as the aggressor then?
I have no idea, but well, I have said this before, so I could say this. She wanted me to apologize to somebody, and I told her to kiss my ass.
Okay.
And then she blocked me right after that, and it's been downhill ever since. And she didn't like the fact that I was going after the Catholic Church for the fact that they were shuffling these pedophile priests around. And so she
I always forget.
So I went after the Catholic Church, and then she made a video about me trying to label me a rape apologist when I'm like, wait a minute, here's the Catholic Church doing this. I'm like, you really want to compare this when I am adamantly, vehemently against crimes like rape? I mean, I'm dating somebody who was a rape victim, not once, but twice. And they think this is a good idea to try to basically lambast me and attack my character by saying I'm a rape apologist because I'm dating a rape victim. I mean, how asininely stupid is that? And it kind of backfired on her because people were like, hey, look, calling Steve a rape apologist is completely batshit crazy because he's very much against those things, right? I mean, so it really didn't do her justice, especially for the fact, like I said, here's somebody that I was trying to say, if you support the Catholic Church, knowing what you know, I think there might be a problem, But she didn't like that, and she, there's a whole bunch of different things. But yeah, I have absolutely nothing to do with her. I haven't even talked to her in 2-3 years. I don't know what it's been, and I have no reason to. I mean, I haven't brought up her name until this is the first time I think I've mentioned her name in ages. But she, for some reason, was telling people that I talk about her all the time. Go back and watch my last videos for the last 2 years. I've never talked about her. I couldn't care less. So the only reason I am tonight is because I haven't talked to you in 4 years, and you asked a legit question, and I'll give you a legit answer.
Do you have any compassion? I mean, I know he brought it all on himself. I'm not saying it, but he seems like he has a miserable life now. Do you have compassion for Kyle?
No.
Because he deserves it?
His willful. When you do something that is willful, right? I mean, I have gone out of my way to help people as much as I can since I've been on YouTube. I've helped people, when they've needed money, I've given them money. When people have had fundraisers, I've tried to help them. By the way, I've never gotten a dime off a fundraiser, not a single penny off a fundraiser. And, I've been vilified with that, saying Steve does these fraudulent fundraisers. I'm like, excuse me, where? I've never done a GoFundMe. I got accused of doing GoFundMes. Never has happened. sometimes people have asked me to help out their GoFundMe, like Rachel Oates. I try to help her GoFundMe. Off the Hook, I try to help her. Reds, I try to help him. Other people have needed money for certain things, so I've sent them a few $100 here and there. Back in 2018, I gave 10% of my income away. I mean, I mean, what else can I possibly do? But when you have somebody who has actively tried to harm and lie to people, no, I have nobody. No, there's no. I don't feel compassion for those kind of people. I really don't. I mean, it doesn't make me a sociopath because I feel compassion for those people that deserve it. But does somebody really deserve it when they're actively going out of it to harm people? I don't think so. At least not in my view. I mean, what do you think on that? I mean, by the way, you're not really an empathetic person either. I mean, I'm very empathetic. I really am for people that I care about and people that I want to help people. But I've learned this. There's pretty much there's some neutral people. Don't get me wrong, but usually you got people that want to harm, or you want people that there's people that want to help, right? Me and the people I surround myself with, those are people that want to help. The people who want to harm, they can stay the hell away from me. I mean, I don't talk about them. I don't mention them. I don't watch their stuff. I have nothing to do with them. They have zero impact in my life whatsoever. But if they want to like bitch about me for the rest of their lives, knock yourself out. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. I don't even think about it. Right? I got my other things. I got so many other things to deal with. Either I give a crap that if they want to harm people and try to like vilify me, okay. I just say, hey, look, I want nothing to do with them. I think they are harmful people, and be done with it. If you want to hang out with them, knock yourself out. I don't care. You know?
Right. I think people think like I'm a horrible moral monster, but I just think other people have fucked up views of ethics. I look at how much what I do, what harm, the way I measure like ethics is the amount of like minimizing suffering and going for well-being. And I don't think that my actions that people consider so outrageous, I don't think that there's really anybody suffering because of them. So I don't know what the fuck kind of ethics they have.
Well, I mean, what do you tend to? Consequentialism, utilitarianism, deontic?
Oh, well, as far as like the philosophical moral position, I don't think that I'm a moral non-cognitivist. I don't think moral statements
Okay,
are.
so what are you, a motivist, a prescriptivist?
Yeah, motivist.
Motivist, okay.
So yeah, it's just people's preferences.
Yeah, no, there's no right or wrong answer to that question. By the way, I tend to more realism, right? But I'm a moral cognitivist. But if you're a moral non-cognitivist, I totally understand. Especially when I think more error theory is probably more the way to go. But if that's the case, but I understand emotivism, right? Boo, stealing is bad. Boo, stealing. And that's fine. But I think the problem that you run into as a motivist and a moral non-cognitivist is the Frege Geach embedding problem. Are you familiar with that?
No.
The Frege Geach embedding problem is basically how do you take a non-cognitivist simple thing and make it into a complex argument? How do you make it into a complex, meaningful thing? Because if you say a sentence or a proposition like stealing is wrong isn't actually a proposition and it doesn't express anything that's truth apt, when you have it in an argument, you just put in there boo stealing for an argument when that's the premise. That premise can no longer be true or false. It's just a statement, boo stealing. So it's an embedding problem.
But you can make descriptive statements out of these prescriptive statements by saying, well, look, relative to our goals, we ought do this. So we're not saying prescriptively, we ought to do this. But
right, no, it's a descriptive.
We assume we want to minimize suffering, then we ought not burn puppies with cigarettes, right? That's not a moral claim. That's a descriptive claim about what is going to be the most effective thing to get us to our goals.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I mean, the two main parts of morality would be the descriptive part or prescriptive part, and you could talk about either one. But did you hear how T-Jump tries to eliminate the Hume's guillotine, the is-ought problem, and the way he does that is by saying there is no ought to be even had. It's just is. It's just the descriptive part. And I was like, well, at that point, you're not even talking about really morality. You're just describing it. So what? Morals, we want to know what you are going to do in a given situation. If you just describe it, okay, that's fine. That's descriptive, or descriptive moral relativism you can have. But I want to know why you think it's right to do an action, right? What's the right moral action to be done given a certain situation? And he just basically eliminates all that, says, well, yeah, there is no ought for the is-ought. That's not a solution to Hume's problem. Or Hume's guilty.
Are you talking about Tom, John?
Yeah. What's your take on him?
Oh, I only recently became aware of him. I know he's been around a lot, but I watched him on Modern Day Debates with Canadian Catholic. I was trying to get on there. Canadian Catholic was trying to get me on there, but I guess his partner ended up showing up. So, but I'm in contact with Tom Jump on Twitter, and we're supposed to debate on Thursday. But last time he
Oh,
agreed to debate me, he didn't show up. So I
no,
don't
same
know.
here.
I'm in his
Yeah.
Discord server.
I was going to debate him in
I mean,
LA
I
live.
I watched him. I wanted to be on a team with Canadian Catholic, who's a theist. I was gonna defend theism. They're fucking irritating atheists. Fucking, there's some dumb other bitch on there. They're so stupid. Oh my god. It makes me angry because I used to be one of them. So that I want to go in there and attack them.
So
You know,
I
I
mean, you
like
feel my
debating
pain
atheists.
when I get into these discussions with atheists that are so naive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like that ones you were arguing with on Facebook the other day.
Narrative.
Uh,
You see my discussion on Facebook. You can tell that I eventually go. You know what? This is just like I might as well try and explain calculus to a 2-year-old.
right. I don't know how you have patience. You seem to always be fucking
I
arguing with
try.
people. I don't
I
know how you
really
patience.
do. I try to have patience, but it's hard. I'm not going to front. I mean, Did you listen to Chester and I this morning on Caffeine Corner?
No, I've never. I don't think I've ever even listened to Caffeine Corner. Besides, I think I saw it's part of a Matt Dillahunty thing.
Well, that was this morning. We had look. I mean, I know you're no fan of Matt, but let me run it by you because you know philosophy pretty well. You've learned a lot over the last 4 or 5 years. So let me ask you this: you agree with me, obviously. I think that if somebody says you must be this or that, that implies some kind of metaphysical necessity, right? I mean, A or not A is a metaphysical necessity based upon the law of non-contradiction, right? It is.
Wait. What do you mean you must be this? Could you like give a specific example so we're on the same page?
Sure, like Matt Dillahunty will argue you must be either an atheist or theist.
What with no that? Well, that would be a false dichotomy.
Yeah, it's a false dichotomy, and without any qualifiers, that's clearly incorrect. Because you don't have to be either. Obviously, there's other positions out there. Now, people
Right,
argue,
there's
well,
people that think God is meaningless.
like, I mean, ichtheist, right? Exactly, right, ichtheism, or a theological cognitivist. But
Well, did you tell him that?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been through this. Read my
What did he
blog.
say?
Read my blog. Well, no, I haven't told Matt this. He doesn't talk to me. But
Oh,
go check out my latest blog post on www.greatdebatecommunity.com. It's actually in the video description, so go check it out. See what you think about it. But yeah, people argue, well, using his definitions, it's a dichotomy. And I'm like, well, even if it's a dichotomy, that doesn't make it a metaphysical necessity, modality wise. To be necessary, it must exist in all possible worlds, which I tell people. They don't seem to realize there is no metaphysical necessity for me to be either atheist or theist. Somebody can narrow the scope down and say, well, in this what's called relative necessity, then you need to be. But there is no metaphysical necessity for it because it's an arbitrary semantic substitution. And yet, everybody that knows philosophy and logic is like, yeah, okay, that sure. But you get these white belts that go, oh, well, Matt Dillahunty says this must be right. Steve's wrong. And I'm like, well, can you explain to me why? How is this a metaphysical necessity? Derive it from first principles. And we had a lot of callers call in this morning. Most of them agree with me, but the ones that didn't, you know how many people were deriving it from first principles? 0. Shocker.
he won't talk to you?
Matt doesn't talk to me. Hell no. All he does is go on other channels and talk crap about me. And gets things wrong. He strawmans my positions all the time. Have you, in 4 years, have you ever heard me say to people, you have to use philosophical definitions? If not, you're wrong? Ever?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's never happened. And yet that's the argument I get back. Steve's saying you have to use atheism this specific way or you're wrong. That has never been an argument of mine. Ever. That's ridiculous. What I say is if you use it in other ways, let's talk about what happens, right? Let's see if there's any kind of a logical contradiction or category error or absurdities. And I think that's perfectly fine to do, right?
Right.
So, wow, man, like I said, I've been really bored tonight. This is actually making my night because it's giving me something to do. Thank you.
Do you know anybody who's trying to start a because I don't want to do all the work, but who's starting a podcast who I could jump on there with? Because I mean, I would just like if
Uh,
some guy was starting off with a podcast, right? I would just
I tell
be
you what,
a
I'm good.
wonderful addition for his own benefit,
I'm a
right?
good matchmaker. I'm a good matchmaker. I mean, I'm the one that helped Nick get a new co-host when Ansgard had to take off, and I found him, Courtney Stewart from Atheist. As you, by the way, I met in person, and we just hit it off fantastic. Um, but I mean, if you want to do a podcast with somebody, or do you want to do YouTube with somebody, or both?
YouTube or what?
Podcast, like legit podcast, like on Fireside FM, or do you want to do a YouTube channel?
Oh, either one I would take.
Okay. Let me see what I can mull over. I have to find somebody that's actually compatible with your personality type. Which
Yeah, because I don't want
am.
somebody who's like, oh, only polite discussions.
Yeah, that's not going to fly with you.
Right, I can't I can't help like get getting ghetto and after I've humiliated somebody, I
Yeah, you
guess.
need somebody really blunt, to the point, succinct, and knows the topics.
Right. Yeah, so that kind of is
I'm not. I'm not succinct.
narrows it down, there's a lot of qualifiers, so
Yeah. Yeah, let me ponder that a little bit. It's so weird. A lot of people that we used to know, a few of them started to come back around again, but there's so many people that over the years that have just vanished, and it's a shame because I would love to have a lot of them back in the conversations. Like even today, I was thinking, whatever happened to like Jimmy Stevens, right? I mean, I didn't agree with him, but he was one of the best presuppositions I've seen, even though I didn't agree with him. He just vanished. I mean, where did he go?
right, it's so annoying how social media is so scattered. Like, do you remember like Outbound and Bulldog?
Yeah, well, Outbound turned into a porn bomber, and just he's a nutter. I don't want to have anything to do with
No, I
him.
was saying those backwaters of the community, they're all still
Oh,
together.
are they?
Like over on yeah, like over on Hangouts.
I've only heard his name mentioned to me once, and that was just fairly recently, and God knows how long. Somebody had mentioned I Am Outbound and Down's Corner, and I'm like, I haven't heard those names in, oh my God, years. And the reason being is they are notorious porn bombers, and I don't. Who wants that around?
Right.
So you associate with them still?
Oh, I talked to them today, but before that it had been like almost a year probably.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't know they're
But
still around.
they're just people are just scattered all over. It's annoying, with Discord and everything.
Yeah, and I'm a big Discord fan. Chesh and Bull are trying to get me more into it. I'm trying, but man, Discord just. You know what I hate about Discord is like messages. Like if you message me on Discord, the chances are I'm not going to get back to you for at least a few weeks because I don't know, I don't see it, I don't find it, and then when I try to go back to answer the person, I'm like, where the hell is this person's message to me? Then I got to click over here and there, and I don't like the way it's laid out.
And then there's these like little sites like BitTube and BitChute.
BitChute.
The Brett Keane people like Von Helton and Brett Keane, they have an incredible presence over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Brett Keane basically lost. He's been making videos about me too, and I haven't done anything with him in ages. He came by one time. How many years has it been since Brett Keane blocked me on Google Hangouts? That had been like several years. But he came into a live chat when I was doing some fishing thing on the Great Debate Community channel, and I was going to be like, okay, I'm going to be civil. We'll see how it goes. I don't know why. It just was in that mood. And then he basically makes like 15 videos about me that I didn't watch, complaining, how bad I am. And I'm like, okay. Von Helton, I used to get along with Von Helton. I don't think that we are on bad terms.
Do you think Brett Keane is just an atheist that trolls atheists?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love him.
Absolutely.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah, I don't think at the very least, I'll say this. I don't think he has a core principle in his body.
A what principle?
A core principle or core value, period. I don't think he has anything that he actually really gives a crap about. It's whatever he can find to get some entertainment value or views or some money rolling in. I don't think he has any principles.
Oh, he does really care about his own family, though.
Well, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, that's his family. But I mean, as far as like the discussions, I don't think he has any core values.
Oh, and then is G-Man around?
Nope. No, well, I mean, he's on S.J. Thomason's channel every so often, but again, I don't follow him. Yeah, I don't. A lot of those people I just have no use for. What am I going to talk to G-Man about? I mean, it was hilarious when he came on, and we had the hangout, the pine trees and elephants hangout. Did you ever say with G-Cat? Remember that?
No.
Oh, you did.
I just don't know by
Well,
name.
he takes the cat and the cat is like and he puts it in the camera and the cat makes this weirdest freaking look you've ever seen in your life. It was the
No,
all time
I didn't see
funniest
that.
hang. Oh my god. Okay, go look on my channel. Just search under pine cones and elephants. The story of G Cat. I'm not. I'm telling you right here now. It is the all time funniest hangout I have ever been in, and for myself, even ever seen on YouTube. And now, my live chat who have seen it, they will probably tell you if they don't think it's the funniest, it is definitely one of the funniest they've ever seen. Ask them. Say, hey, live chat, how funny was that GCAT stuff? Ask them.
Oh, ask the
Yeah,
live chat.
yeah.
How funny was it?
There you go. So,
Um, what do you are you friendly with Dragnut?
no.
Because like the whole G-Man thing, like G-Man is just this, it's like kind of analogous to like he's a mentally retarded person. Right? He's this crazy young Earth creationist,
Well, but
things
he's a sensationalist. I mean, he does a lot of it over the top for a reason, like the MMA, WWF type approach.
but so I just don't view like Dragnet becoming obsessed with somebody like G-Man is just so bizarre to me, and the whole calling up his job and getting him fired and that shit is just so it just seems really childish to have a feud with
Well,
G-Man like that.
I don't even talk about him, to be honest with you. But what you said is it did happen. So yeah, I don't think anybody has a right to call up anybody's work and try to get somebody fired. I think it's beyond the pale. You got to remember the people that you used to know that I knew. Pretty much none of them I have any contact with because of the deplorable, despicable things they have done. And I'm not going to be around that kind of stuff. I have a very high level of integrity, and I've held myself to that for since as long as I remember. Since I was 3 years old, when my mom gave my sister a quarter, and she gave me a dime when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I remember trying to steal a pack of chiclets, and she made me go back to talk to the manager, and I was scared to death, and it was the most learning experience of my life. And so I learned very early on this is not something you should do, and I think that started the whole framework to me to be a highly ethical person. When I was in the military, you have to have ethics, right? And when you're in business, I was in business 20 years, you have to have ethics. There are people in the live chat are going, yes, GCAT, funny. Very funny. It was great. I've seen it 3 times. So yeah. So check it out. It was really funny. But yeah, none of those people I associate with any longer, Gigi.
I don't know any of these
Yeah.
people in the live chat. Do they know me?
I have no idea. Again, I know a lot of people, and a lot of them either don't come around or just whatever, but I do know a lot of people. So it's hard to tell if you know any of them in the live chat anymore. People have changed over the last, my first video was 1990, I think 2003. 2013 is when I started my channel. When was my first video? 2015 maybe? But I am Moon for $5 as a sticker. Hi, Moon. We love her, and you don't know her, but who would you know? I don't know.
Oh, so are they all paying members?
Well, no, I have joined. I have members, but I don't do this member chat shit. No, I will never do that. Screw that. I think anybody who puts their live chat to members only is a scammer. It's just straight off the stop scammer. They have nothing of value to add to YouTube. Because why would you put it to members only? Now I can understand if you have a bunch of trolls come in and you need to shut it down quick. Okay, fine, right? But I want my live chat to be open, right? I want people to be able to have a dialogue in it, right? Why would I just say, look, the only way you can have a dialogue is if you pay me? No, screw that.
Oh, I just yeah, no, I agree. I just sign up for the smallest membership. Um, fuck, what was I gonna? I wanted to ask you something. I forgot. Oh, shit, it was just. Oh my god! I just totally drew a blank. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It was
But
important
but
too.
what about your end? What about Jack Ainstrike? And I mean, how's he doing?
Oh well, he's frustrated. He can't go after Darth anymore because Darth is protected by the mods.
He can't go after Darth. Why?
Darth has mods in all these servers now. It's not like on
Right.
Hangouts when you could chase him out.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But Darth Dockman's got doxed.
Yeah,
So
no, yeah, no, I know that happened ages ago. But I don't really care what his real name is or anything like that. That never had any interest in me, right? I thought he was dishonest because he would only have conversations where he had mods. He would only have conversations where he can control the narrative. Because I remember very specifically when I was having conversations with him, especially when we were talking about things like natural selection, and I think we were talking about photos argument one time. He basically it shuts you down. I mean, he will not let you speak. He'll never let you get his full sentence out. And how do you have a dialogue
Jack?
with somebody? No, no, not Jack. I love Jack.
Oh.
No, Darwin's.
Oh yeah. Oh, so I remember what I was gonna say. Do you know about Shani and Rev have porn? They like
Yeah.
record themselves having sex. Oh, did you see it?
God, no. No, I'm not in. No, no. I mean, don't. Well, if I did, I'd probably be like shaking like this and stuff. So, why did you?
Oh, I just looked at it once. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it's what you would expect it to be.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. Look, I've always got along with Rev. Okay, I have. I have no ill will toward him at all. Shani, I've never talked to in any way, shape, or form, or have any kind of contact with. So I don't know how she knows me, because I don't really know her. Because I don't think I've ever talked to her and hang out. But yeah, I know. I've known Rev for quite some time. So if it makes him happy, you know what? Who am I to judge that, man? I don't care. Kawasa has a sticker. Bravo. Thank you, Kawasa. Mwah. Dr. Zaya says, "Oh, you really should watch it." He sounds like he speaks from experience.
Oh, well, some YouTubes they like you have to if you want to ask a question from the live chat, you gotta pay. That's good though, because then if you have an important question, you got a way of getting it answered.
Yeah, I don't do any of that stuff. Look, if people want to watch my stuff and they want to become members and they want to become patrons, I want them to do it because they like the content for no other reason. All right. I mean, yeah, I do read out super chats, so they're obviously going to get some priority. But if people have questions, they could obviously ask it without doing a super chat. I'm not going to play this game where, only Patreons get this or that. I don't like that. The only thing I can offer Patreons and members is that they have more access to me. It's really the only thing I can say. Look, if a Patreon contacts me, I'm usually getting back to them in 5 minutes, right? So I did give them, if not, I might be busy with other stuff. I'm like, okay, if I get a message just from somebody, I might get back to them an hour or two later. But if it's your Patreon, I might hurry up a little bit. That's the only thing I could really offer. But I still get back to everybody eventually, as much as possible. I can tell you right now, anybody who's ever messaged me probably will tell you I've gotten back to them. Very few people have probably said, hey, I contacted Steve, but I never heard from him. If anybody ever says, I tried to contact Steve and I couldn't, they're lying. They're just straight up lying. I mean, I have so many different ways of contacting me. But anyway.
You always respond to me very quickly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do that with anybody who messages me. And most of the time I try to at least give the person the benefit of the doubt if I don't know who they are and say, okay, what does you like to know? But as Cheshire and I have really found out through experience, there is a real phenomenon, sea lioning, where people would just ask you questions just to troll you, just to waste your time.
Right.
Yeah. So, by the way, what's the debate topic that you're supposed to do with Darwin's?
Oh, Tom Jump?
Oh, I'm sorry. Tom Jump. I'm sorry. Not Darwin's.
I don't think the topic was chosen, but there's some things I want to attack him about that he had said when he was debating Canadian Catholic. Or now you just told me his position on morality. I could go after him with that.
Who, Darwin's?
No, Tom Jump.
Oh, Tom Jump. Yeah, no, yeah, that's one of his positions on morality. It's very bizarre. Okay, his actual argument for morality is I'm not even exaggerating. He calls it an involuntary imposition of will. Have you heard him say that before?
No.
How do you not follow him? You're losing your mind. So what he calls immoral, right, an immoral action is an involuntary imposition of will. That means if somebody does something that you don't have given consent for or that's against your will, it's an immoral act, whether it's an agent or not. If a rock falls off a cliff and hits you in the head, according to Tom Jump, that rock is immoral for hitting you in the head.
Where's he getting that from? Is there some philosopher that says that? I don't think so.
Nobody. Zero. People have mocked him for this. He doesn't seem to understand moral agency only applies to things that have agents of moral consideration. A rock, at best, you can call it amoral because it doesn't have any morals one way or another. So it's not immoral. It's not moral. It's amoral. But just because the rock hits you in the head and it's imposed in some kind of involuntary imposition of will, which it doesn't have, it violates your will, but the rock doesn't have any will. To say a rock is immortal makes absolutely no freaking sense to me at all, ever, in any way, shape, or form. But that's the way Tom Jump thinks. So,
He
get him
said
on
this
that.
dumb shit like 1 or 2 times, or he's like doubled down on it.
Oh, yeah, no, he's had whole hangouts on this.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I was going to debate him in LA live, and we were going to discuss some of this stuff. But then he got sick and he couldn't make the flight.
Yeah, I wanted to debate it so I can like I'm trying to get more high profile people so I can put it on my YouTube so I can try to build up my YouTube.
Well, I mean, what main arguments do you want to debate? I mean, like obviously not the Kalamkai stuff, but
With him or anybody?
anybody, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I can defend any fucking position. I'll defend God.
You know what you should do? Photos arguments more.
Yeah, Fuller's arguments are really, really hard to grasp, and I don't even think I grasp it completely. And then you're never just like talking to these dumb atheists. They're just gonna scream.
Yeah, no, Photo's arguments aren't not easy, but I mean, his argument is based upon philosophical concepts. But yeah, a lot of the the people by Fiat go, well, look, Photo's saying natural selection doesn't occur, and I'm like, that's not what Photo's saying. He's I mean, he accepts evolutionary biologist. He's an atheist too, but they don't understand the argument at all about coextensive traits. But yeah, that was always a good one. I don't know.
I wish somebody would attack Aaron Ra with that more.
Yeah, well, he doesn't understand that argument. But Arendt doesn't understand Hume's problem of induction either. Arendt thinks that Hume's problem of induction is that we can never 100% be certain of things by induction. That's not Hume's problem of induction. In fact, induction can't be certain. It's not supposed to be. If it's certain, it's a deductive argument. For an inductive argument, it has to be cogent over 50%, but less than 100. That's cogency. But he doesn't seem to realize, and this is what Darwin gets right, matter of fact. Darwin understands Hume's problem of induction exceptionally well. But the problem with Hume's problem of induction is a justificatory situation where you cannot justify the use of induction by using induction because that's circular, right? So there's no really way to justify induction by using anything like, well, we knew it worked yesterday, therefore we can say it'll work tomorrow. That's straight up circular, right?
Right. It's crazy how Aaron Ra, like when I was first like a newbie atheist, like those people, there was a fan. Yeah, you look up to them as like gods. I remember once I went and saw Aaron Ra like live do a talk at this atheist meetup thing, and I was like starstruck. And now it's just a total 180. I just view him as he's a clown.
Well, I mean, philosophically speaking, I mean, I like Arendt for his phylogeny, right? I mean, for his arguments against younger creationism, I'm on board with him. I actually, he was a friend of mine. The only reason he stopped being my friend is because he couldn't recognize the fact that he was not getting my arguments and he was making assertions by fiat without evidence. And I told him, hey, if you can't show it, you don't know it. His own line, right? And he blocked me. He couldn't show it because what he was saying was utter nonsense. And he was telling me like things like not B, not P is double negation. It's like, no, that's not double negation. Double negation is not P, right? It's not, you can't, if you negate the predicate and you negate the proposition, that's not a double negative. But he was making, all these weird stuff and people are telling him, Aaron, stop. Just look, he's not a philosophically minded person. He says he doesn't like it. So why does he argue philosophy? And then he has the tenacity to go, oh, well, Steve's wrong about all this. And yet people are telling him going, well, what is he wrong about, Arn? I mean, he's telling you how it is in philosophy. He's showing you citations. He's giving you, logic. What's the mistake to be had here? And Arn has told me, if I am right, then his entire life's work is for naught, is what he basically told me. It's hyperbolic, but it makes no sense to me. Why would that be the case?
Yeah, he's great when it comes to the evolution stuff, but he can't, like, it's been years, and I don't think he still doesn't understand presuppositional apologetics.
No, and he doesn't understand Photo's argument either. He doesn't understand a lot of those philosophical arguments.
But why is he trying to debate these presuppers if he doesn't understand the fucking argument? He looks like a clown.
I honestly couldn't tell you. And he's had help. I know people have helped him, especially on presuppositionalism. But look, if you're going to go against a presupper and you don't know some of these terms, like what knowledge is, or theory of knowledge, or theory of truth, or anything like that, it's going to be very difficult because you're talking a different language, right? And I have the same problem all the time with people going, well, how could you not, how could you believe something if you don't know about it? We're like, well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about knowledge, right? Knowledge is a very specific term in epistemology. We're not talking about being aware of, we're not talking about information, right? To know that P is an epistemic disposition, saying that it's met certain criteria, like the justified true belief conditions, right? So three things on that. But that's not the way some other people are using that term because they have no experience in epistemology. So when I'm talking to them about them going, well, look, knowledge is a subset of belief, they're like, well, how could that be? You're insane, Steve. And I'm like, oh God, but that's what happens, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, if Aaron just kind of backed off the Philo stuff and he wasn't so obstinate, I think it'd go a lot further. But he's never going to recognize that I'm right. I mean, he did
so
recognize
arrogant.
he did recognize I was right about belief. I think because he had been saying that belief isn't negation and acceptance of negation. I said, well, Aaron, yeah, epistemically it is, and I gave him some citations for it. But I also said, look, American Atheist says this. Atheism is not the disbelief or denial of gods, which, by the way, I don't agree with, but at least they're using the word as it's normally understood epistemically. So disbelief is the hold to the negation, that the proposition is false. And I said, well, Aaron, if American Atheist is telling me that atheism is not the disbelief that God exists, and you're saying atheism is the disbelief that God exists, do you not see a problem here because you're on their board and all this other stuff? And he had to think about it. And I think he finally realized that, yeah, the way they're using disbelief is how I'm using disbelief. I clearly atheism is the disbelief that God doesn't exist. But yeah, that's the only time I think he kind of changed his mind, I think.
Right. Well, one thing I disagree with you just said, that doesn't mean he can't be, just because they disagree on the definition doesn't mean he can't be on their board.
Oh, sure. But he now agrees with their definition because now he uses the word disbelief the way I do.
Right.
So, at least as far as I understand his position to be, I don't want to ever straw man him because that's what they do to me, But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I wish that he would not be so obstinate. I really do. Nothing I have said is not what is anything outlandish. I'm giving objective information that you can go validate when I do these hangouts and these shows. I mean, you can go read about it. It's not like I'm making this stuff up. It's not like I'm just pulling it out of my a-hole going, here you go. Like I see a lot of other people do. There's a lot of atheists out there going, hey, this is the case. And I ask them for citation and they say, well, because reasons.
Yeah.
So, but man, where do you want to go from here? Because
can you open up the chat to let other people in?
Yeah, who wants to come in? You can give them a link. I don't care.
Yeah, what? Somebody come in and wants to try to debate me.
All right, we could do that for a few minutes.
Just come in and I'll crush anybody on anything. Just come in and make a fucking claim.
She's gonna pull a Tom Jump. She's gonna have this. What is it? This masterful epistemological approach that can defeat any argument regardless of the claim. I think that's what he's going for. By the way. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just that I can pick out errors in reasoning, even if what somebody is saying is true, how they're getting there, they're going to slip up along the way. I'm fucking so impressed with myself. It's amazing. I can go into a Discord server, just listen to them talk for a few seconds or a minute, and I'll just waiting for someone to pounce on, and I fucking pounce on. I can go in there. I just go in there swinging. It's crazy.
Well, hey, I mean, read my blog and see if you can find any pitfalls or problems with it. I usually have a few people look it over. Alex Malpass looked over, the one that I did with him and William Lane Craig. That was not an easy one, by the way. I did one of modal considerations because I don't know if you watched the debate with Alex and William Lane Craig, but they were
I watched half of it.
Oh, that was complicated. And I was like,
yeah,
okay.
Some of that went over my head.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not understanding this argument. So do you know what I did? I was like, hey, Alex, can you explain this to me? He's like, yeah. So he explained it, and I said, look, I don't understand this right now, and I'm fully fine with saying that. Give me a couple of days to mull it over, ponder it, see what he wrote, and kind of digest it. And it took several days, but then I was like, oh. And so I wanted to see if I can explain it in a way that would be making sense to other people, so I wrote a blog about it. And I think I did a decent job, because Alex like, yeah, that's the gist of it. But I got 80% of the way there. I could have done things a little bit different, but it's so damn hard of a concept that they're going for. So
I want to see Malpass debate Matt Dillahunty. Somebody said in the text chat you should get Adam Friended to debate Godless Girl. Who's Adam Friended?
That would be funny. Adam Friendly is also known as what is he else does he go by? He had a really funny video series ages ago about the was it the Skeptic Detective or something? Hilarious. He advocates. He's a JP follower, Jordan Peterson kind of guy.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh, I fucking hate that man.
yeah. He has what's the name? Think something or other. He goes by too.
A Jordan Peterson
Yeah, he's a
follower.
big Jordan Peterson fan. He's a
The
postmodernist
way
kind of guy.
Jordan Peterson defines truth is that if it's true, what is it? What does he say? Not psychologically true. What does he say? Something true. What is the term? Oh, you don't know what I'm talking
No,
about?
no. There's different ways to define truth. I mean, coherence. Correspondence theory would just be, there's some truth maker out there that makes the proposition true, right? There's some ontological fact of the matter that makes that proposition true, right? But other theories of truth don't necessarily have that. I mean, deflationary truth doesn't have any truth makers, right? I mean, if you just say snow is right or it is true snow is right, those mean the exact same thing. It is true merely for the fact in virtue, like virtue T, it is virtue in the fact that because snow is white, snow is white. That makes this statement true.
No, but I don't know the exact term he uses, but it's like religious truth. So the sense in which something is religiously true is that it's a myth that was made up because it has some wisdom, a lesson of wisdom.
Oh
So
yeah,
by
I do remember that.
definition, it's false,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, okay. By the way, Think Club. Yes, thank you, Dr. Zayas. Yeah, I do remember something like that. He was advocating at one time, like the ancient shamans knew the double helix structure of DNA. And he also, when he was talking to Matt Dillahunty in a debate, he was asked by Ozzy uh, the question, what do you consider to be an atheist? And Jordan Peterson's convoluted answer was one of the most weirdest answers because he started talking about Dostoevsky's War and Peace, and he started talking about the lead character and how he didn't have any emotions, and he just basically, if I remember correctly, he wanted to give God back his ticket or something like that to heaven because he recognized God exists, but he didn't care, and he just had no empathy for anybody because I guess he killed some. I didn't read the book; it's like that big, but I was like, that's what you think an atheist is? That I mean, really? That okay, but that's not how anybody I've ever met utilizes that term.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, I won't be able to do it tonight, but I will mull up somebody and see who can get for you to debate you on something. You know.
Okay. So as somebody who's thick skinned, so they're so I have to be like, calm down, sir.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get you, namsy pamsy.
What's the Nancy Pamsy?
Somebody who's just like, a real wuss. You need somebody with some cojones. Because you can, by the way, because I know how formidable you can be, but you can also be a real bitch. So I mean, you need somebody like can hang, and not be like scared off you. Because I mean, back in the day, you've had some pretty nasty videos, man.
Yeah, but those are nasty in a different way than the way in which I'm nasty. I mean,
Okay,
I'm
fair
kind of like
enough.
Darth Dawkins. The old Darth Dawkins. I'm trying to humiliate them.
Why? Just out of
Because I
curiosity.
hate that. Because I used to be like them. So I hate that about myself. So I have psychological problems,
Hmm.
and I take that out like on the weak atheist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want. I mean, my goal is never really to humiliate a white belt atheist. My goal is to get them to realize that they don't know squat and they're arguing like an idiot.
Yeah, but I think maybe humiliation could be a tool to do that with some of them because it's like a slap, like you're throwing cold water in their face,
Oh, by the
waking
way,
them up,
it was
wake the
yeah.
fuck up.
War and Peace was Tolstoy, not Dostoevsky. But it wasn't Dostoevsky. It wasn't Tolstoy. The book I'm thinking of wasn't War and Peace. It was uh, what was the book that he mentioned? It was by Dostoevsky. It wasn't by Tolstoy. Because
Oh, I think I know the one you mean, where he beats the woman to death with a
yeah,
club
with
in
a
the book.
club. Yeah,
Yeah, I know what book you're talking.
but it wasn't War and Peace.
I actually read that because I heard Jordan Peterson talking about it. I thought it sounded like an interesting story. Nothing that he specifically said
Crime
about
and
it, but
Punishment. Is that what it was?
yeah, Crime and Punishment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a really good story.
Yeah, I don't have a wherewithal to the look. The biggest book I tried reading was Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, and by the time I got near the end, I just wanted to put a pencil in my eye. It just was the most god awful, drawn out, bloviating, nonsensical tripe I've ever seen in my entire freaking life. It was horror bad. I don't recommend it. 1-1, never do again. Yeah. So, yeah, the Brothers Karamazov. Yeah, there you go, Kiwasa. Yeah, I've read some stuff. I am not completely like illiterate literature. It's just I can't read those real big thick stuff.
Ayn Rand. That's like
Raskolnikov. Well, he's the main character. Yeah, the bad guy. Yeah.
Ayn Rand isn't like even academic philosophy. It's not even real philosophy. It's like
it's
philosophy
bubblegum.
of life bullshit.
Yeah, it's bubblegum. Objectivism is just, and then she ends up. She goes actually in later on in life. She totally violates her own premises and her own beliefs by she gets on Social Security and doesn't. She just turns on herself. But you know who did a good book on that, from what I understand. Nick wrote a book on that. I mean, he wrote like the definitive guide against Ayn Rand. Believe it or not, Nick Suter.
Who's Nick?
Nick Suter from In Time.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he wrote like a definitive novel against Ayn Rand's objectivism. Yeah, Bragwin puts it perfectly. Atlas Shrugged is written by a narcissist trying to brag about how selfish she was. There you go. Who is John Galt? I have no idea. I still to this day don't even know who the hell John Galt is. Yeah, I really can't stand Ayn Rand. So, but yeah, no, I'll find somebody for you to debate on something, especially a white belt.
You don't even have to. If you just threw it out while I was in here sometime, then just like opened it up for anybody to come in. Like
nobody's asked me for the link.
Yeah.
They know how to get a hold of me. Like I said, people said if they tried to get a hold of me and they couldn't, something's wrong because I'm.
How many messages do you get a day?
Not as many as I used to. I used to get several hundred a day easily.
Oh my god!
Oh, not even remotely. I mean, every day I get emails galore. We gotta remember, Facebook, Twitter, email, Patreon, and then I was on Reddit for a while. I used to get messages all the time. I would probably say that I get less than 100 nowadays, which is.
You didn't have any kind of assistant?
You really? No, people suggest I got one. I used to spend like 3 to 4 or 5 hours a day in the morning just responding to people, especially when I was on the Non Sequitur show.
I wouldn't have the patience for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wanted to be in touch with people. I wanted to be close to the people that like the show. And so when people are telling me, when you have like Kyle say, I did 95% of the show, I'm like, yeah, you think that, you were the show, even though you didn't talk to anybody. You blew off all the contacts that I had. All those people that I was scheduling, he didn't schedule. But I was always responding to the fans. That was always me. So.
What? That channel's dead, right? So why doesn't he want to hand over the credentials?
Just because I couldn't tell you. Ego, I guess. But it's not going to end well for him. It's just not going to end well for him.
On some dumb principle. So is he deluded into believing he's right?
Probably not. I think, well, you know what? I can't really put myself in his mindset. I can just say right now, I'm pretty damn convinced it's not going to end well for him. Yeah.
What? So wait, I haven't been following the case closely. So you won and they demanded oh yeah, it was so funny. I saw the day you posted, I won. I won.
I mean, the default judgment.
That was the monetary part.
No,
right?
No, not the monetary part. That was all the assets. The monetary part, I cannot put in for the monetary part until he actually gives me the actual financials, which he didn't do.
Has he given it to the court?
He gave some things that he called financials, but they weren't legit financials. So.
Yeah, so what is the court reaching out to him and he's ignoring them or what?
Oh yeah. Well, the judge said today, this is the order that's in effect. Abide by this or I'll consider incarceration. Is the word he used.
That sounds like a threat, but it wouldn't actually be carried out though, doesn't it?
Oh, I think that it's a high probability being carried out. I mean, very high probability.
Like they'll put a warrant out?
Well, not necessarily that, no, but it depends. You know what? I shouldn't say not necessarily that. Well,
like he could probably never go to file taxes or anything. Right?
There's a lot of stuff going on. Let's just put it that way, and I'm not going to go too much into that. But there's a lot of things that can happen to him. So he's not
Like if he
when
ever
when a
got
judge
a
tells you
job
do
and
this,
tried
or
to,
when a judge says do this, or I'll sanction you up to incarceration, and then gives you all this about being incarcerated, you might want to take that threat seriously. That's just what I'm saying. I
right.
mean, that's just a common sense
There's
kind of
no
thing.
reason not to.
No reason not to. None. Because if he's so much in the right, right, all that would happen is the judge would say, hey, look, Steve, you need to return this all back to Kyle, right? That's okay. That's not going to happen, obviously, but by him violating the court order, yeah, that's not a smart move. But anyways, I think we're caught up though. I think this has been interesting.
We're not all caught up. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk more sometime about the sexual assault allegations stuff. That's
With David Silverman.
well, there's David Silberman and Richard Carrier and Neil deGrasse Tyson and
Yeah,
Lawrence Krauss.
and it's things weird is because like Carrie used to be adamantly against he used to be adamantly for atheism plus, and then he was just like, look, you always have to believe the victim, and then when he gets accused of it, he's like, okay, no, there's a problem with this mindset, right? I mean, look, one of Kyle's co-hosts had accused me of sexual harassment. You know what evidence she had for it? Zero. And you know how many times her story changed? 6 times. So,
oh yeah, and you can't really get away with the false accusations on the internet because we would expect to see a
well,
fucking
nobody believes her
trail of
now,
evidence,
but back
right?
then, but she had changed her story 6 times, and Bullinator, you know Bull,
Yeah.
yeah, he's like, this never happened, and he's the producer. And it's like, wait a minute, if you're going to accuse me of this, where's the evidence for this? I'd like to see it. Oh, wait, you have none? Shocker. I mean,
But that's
and then you
crazy.
change your story 6 times? Yeah, so to me, it's like, look, when people use this kind of stuff as a weapon, it diminishes the actual victims from these crimes. Or
Right.
even though it's not technically, sometimes it's not crime, it could be civil. But either still, it's something you don't go around doing, right? I mean, and then what's funny is when the people were standing up to me, like Cheshire and Sweet Heathen and Manya and Serrated Kiss, Nikki, they were told they're not real women because they're like standing up for me. And it's like, wait a minute, what? I mean, that makes no sense. I mean, you're literally telling a woman that she's not a woman, and you're the one taking the moral high ground here. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll let you go. You look tired, so
I am. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. I was like fading today. I was still over caffeinated. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have a stream to kind of wind down, talk about nothing. You said, hey, you mind if we hang out? I was like, oh crap, no, I haven't talked to you in ages, really. So come on in. So So this is a good catch up, and like I said, I'll try to find you something. Drop by on Rum and Coke nights if you want. But yeah, I mean, people have to realize that there are people I've known for several years, and when people have been bad mouthing me, saying I'm such a horrific, evil, hate mongering, vicious person, it's like, who the fuck are they talking about? Because I don't know who the hell they're talking about. You've seen me get maybe angry sometimes in certain discussions, but I've never been mean to anybody. I've never been like trying to like harm them. I've never been vindictive, So it's like these people trying to character assassinate me. They are obviously trying to the people that just don't know me, and that like the new people that have come around. Because the people that have been around my life for a very long time, they know better than that shit. I mean, I got people in my lifetime that know me 10 plus years.
right.
So what are you gonna do? But hey, I've always given you the benefit of the doubt. You've given me the benefit of the doubt. There's a mutual, I think, respect there, and I'm cool with that. So, 'cause
I'm just brutally honest. I do fucked up shit. I'm just brutally honest when I do it.
you
So
are, hey, look, I'm not going to say that I agree with a lot of stuff you do. And I've been straight up with that. But you've always been, as far as I know, you've always been honest to me about it. What am I going to do? I mean, I detest people that lie to me. You have never given me a reason to doubt you. And come to find out in some cases where people thought you were lying, I stood up for you and found out you were telling the truth. So, yeah.
oh yeah, I was the snipe in the hangouts.
Yeah.
I sniped one hangout and you
But I
cleared
remember
me of
that,
the
yeah.
other accusations.
Yeah,
The other hangout, yeah.
But this is what happens. People, when I've noticed this, GD, when people don't understand a topic, or worse, they don't have enough information. They fill in the gaps with their own imagination. They fill in their gaps with their own narrative. They fill in these gaps with these bullshit that they have nothing to actually substantiate it with. But sometimes on the internet, that doesn't matter to certain people. There are people on the internet that don't care if people can substantiate their shit or not. They don't care. It's irrelevant to them. It's just reality TV to them. And that's how they treat it.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, but we see it happen all the time, man.
Do you find the drama? It's some of it's really entertaining, or it's better than reality television.
And some people like that shit. Knock yourself out. I particularly
You
don't.
you don't laugh at some of that shit?
No, look. I never even watched. Was it Blood Sports? That kind of stuff. The Kumite, Worski and those guys. I never watched any of that stuff. Keemstar, not interested. And
oh, come on, what about, so like we don't approve of them getting G-Man fired from his job, but like when you watch the video of him, it's an atheist calling him at his job and him picking up the phone on camera.
Well, that's
why
a little bit
are you atheists calling him at
hey,
job?
that's a little bit different. He's actually put his phone number out there for people to call him at work, but that's a little different than calling up his boss and trying to get him fired, right? But he's a hypocrite because he threatened to call up my landlord at one time and get me evicted.
But I mean, you don't think that shit's funny?
No, I don't like involving people's personal lives. No, I would never dream of me thinking to myself, "Hey, I'm going to call this person's work." Never.
No, you can disapprove and think it's funny at the same time.
I don't find humor in that, to be honest with you. I really don't. I mean, I even said, look, when people were mocking like Rocket Ronnie, who I don't get along with that well, but people were mocking him where he lived, his poverty level, his job, the way he looks. I didn't like any of that. I don't like those personal kinds of attacks. I really don't. Now, I'm not saying they're sometimes not justified. Look, some people came after me, and I attacked them right back, and I give what I get. But you got to come after me first like that. Then I'll respond to that. But just to say, look, I don't like this person's argument, therefore I'm going to attack them because they don't make a lot of money. Bullshit. I think that's vile and reprehensible.
Right.
Kiwasa 5,000 for Super Chat. He says, I just feel sorry for Mr. Steve McRae in Australia. By the way, I know him, or at least one of them. He's actually on my Facebook. Can you imagine how he feels when there's all this talk about the evil Steve McRae? I don't think I haven't talked to him in years, but I do know a Steve McRae on my Facebook from Australia. He's a contractor. But I don't think it's the same one that people have been talking about because I do think there's more than one, and then there's the Baldaily answer. But I found there's a lot more Steve McRae's than I had initially thought. So whatever. But all
right, well, I'll let you go. Have a good night.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for talking to me.
You're welcome. Good catching up with you. All right, guys. I appreciate me letting this unleashed a little bit. Again, just free form, talking about absolutely nothing. Sometimes you just got to do it. I just wanted to wind down today. It's been a whirlwind, to be honest with you. I mean, I got up and I read that thing that the judge said, and obviously it was like 95% spot on perfect, and I loved it. One or two things I wish had been a little bit different, but it's nominal. But at least it's movement, right? At least it is saying, look, this is an effect. This is what the order is. And so when it comes down to, him having to actually show cause why he hasn't fulfilled the court order, there's going to be some hell to pay. So that's what we're going for. Later on this week, I got something with Jonathan Ratz. He's a philosopher. And what else I got? Modern Day Debate. I'm going to be debating Snake Was Right on Modern Day Debates channel April 19th. And I believe the topic is this, that whole is atheism and theism a metaphysical necessity. That's the topic I want. I haven't gotten a confirmation of that yet, but it is going to be at least Snake thinks I'm wrong on everything. He said on the entire Duke debate that I had, I was wrong on everything. Okay, let's discuss that, right? So anyways, thanks for watching this, guys. Go check out Red's Rhetoric's video that he had on his channel when we went over this stuff. And let me know what you guys think of that. Leave comments in the video descriptions. I get a lot of messages still, but I'm not getting a lot of comments any longer. And I don't know why. They're not going to my spam filter. But I'm just not seeing the comments that I used to see. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess I have less people disagreeing with me because on my last video, the only people I had like 5 people left comments. 4 of them were disagreeing with me. I was like, okay, let's discuss this. But, a person agreeing with me nice every so often. So thank you, Nikki, by the way. Thank you for that. Goddess Scummer says, somewhere there may be a guy called Steve McRae that's everything you're accused of being. That might be true. In some possible world, it's true, right? And this, by the way, I'll leave you guys with this because this is the best comment, and he's said this before, but I agree with him. Kimamaki says Kyle's just not understanding sunk costs and the sunk cost fallacy. If you don't know what it is, go look it up because I think you're right on the money on that. Okay, so with that, guys, I'm going to go crash out and pass the hell out. I'm exhausted. I probably won't be back until sometime tomorrow afternoon, at any platform. So if you need to get a hold of me, don't. Night.